What if the key to survival is listening to the animals around us?
In our technologically advanced era, humanity has constructed an impressive fortress against nature's fury. We deploy billion-dollar satellites as celestial sentinels, position hypersensitive ocean sensors to detect subtle disturbances, and employ supercomputers capable of processing petabytes of data to create predictive models. This sophisticated network represents our modern citadel, a shield against planetary unpredictability. Yet this paradigm may be fundamentally incomplete. What if our most reliable early warning system isn't crafted from silicon and circuitry, but represents something far more ancient, profoundly organic, and has been operating quietly beside us for millennia? Consider the unexplained phenomena we've witnessed throughout history: the restless flock of birds wheeling against a calm sky, the sudden silence descending upon an ant colony, or the anxious growl of a household pet without apparent cause. For centuries, humanity has observed these peculiar animal behaviors, our eternal neighbors and nature's silent witnesses, manifesting just before catastrophe strikes. These instinctual anxieties, these sudden flights and guttural warnings may constitute our most profound and underutilized natural alarm system. Historical evidence provides compelling testimony across millennia. In 373 BC, the ancient Greek city of Helike witnessed a mass exodus of animals. Snakes, weasels, mice, and martens abandoned their dens in uncanny unison days before a catastrophic earthquake and tsunami obliterated the city. While even inhabitants perished, the creatures that heeded nature's warning survived. More than 2 millennia later, in 1975, Chinese officials in Haicheng faced a critical decision. Despite monitoring foreshocks, it was the deluge of reports describing bizarre animal behavior that proved decisive. Snakes emerged from winter hibernation to freeze on icy ground. Livestock panicked and broke enclosures, and geese abandoned their roosts. Trusting these primal signals, authorities ordered the evacuation of nearly 1 million residents. Mere hours later, a devastating 7.3 magnitude earthquake destroyed 90% of the city's buildings, but countless lives were saved, making it the most successful large-scale earthquake prediction in history, achieved through animal behavior rather than technology. The phenomenon repeated dramatically during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Along Thailand's coast, elephants snapped their chains and carried startled tourists to higher ground hours before the devastating waves arrived. In Sri Lanka's Yala National Park, directly in the tsunami's path, rescue teams discovered almost no animal casualties amidst massive human tragedy. The wildlife had already fled to safety. These consistent patterns across centuries and continents reveal a profound truth. Beneath our advanced algorithms and sophisticated sensors exists an alternative warning system, ancient, instinctual, and astonishingly precise. Creatures bound to Earth through evolutionary ties far older than human civilization perceive subtle environmental cues beyond our detection capabilities. They sense vibrations too faint for our instruments, detect minute pressure changes imperceptible to our senses, and respond to electromagnetic variations we cannot measure. These signals trigger behaviors that, for those who learn to interpret them, can mean the difference between life and death. The ultimate challenge may not lie in developing increasingly complex technology, but in humbly acknowledging the ancient wisdom that has always surrounded us. Encoded within the frantic flight of birds, the restless stirring of insect colonies, or the anxious cries of mammals, lies a primordial language as old as our planet itself, a language we are only beginning to decipher, and one that may ultimately prove to be our most reliable shield against nature's overwhelming power. How is this extraordinary animal prescience possible? What subtle planetary signals can these creatures detect that our advanced technology and intellect cannot perceive? For years, the scientific community remained skeptical, dismissing countless reports as unreliable anecdotes or coincidences, products of human confirmation bias. The unpredictable nature of earthquakes makes them nearly impossible to study under controlled conditions. Yet, the sheer volume of consistent accounts across cultures and centuries has recently spurred serious research, slowly unveiling this profound mystery. The answer appears to lie not in one single mechanism, but in a suite of highly sensitive biological perceptions refined over millions of years of evolution. A fundamental explanation involves the physics of seismic waves. When tectonic plates rupture, they generate two main waves: the high-frequency P wave, primary wave, that travels fastest but causes little damage, followed by the slower, destructive S wave, secondary wave, that brings violent shaking. Many animals, dogs, cats, birds, rodents, with their exquisite sensitivity to vibrations through paws, inner ears, and bone structures, are believed to detect the faint P wave vibrations seconds or even minutes before the S wave strikes. This provides a critical window to flee or seek shelter. Yet this alone cannot explain warnings that occur hours or days in advance, such as in Haicheng. Research led by scientists like Dr. Martin Wakelski at the Max Planck Institute points to more complex triggers. One compelling theory suggests that immense pressure on tectonic rocks before a quake releases positively charged ions into the air and soil. These ions can cause physiological changes, serotonin imbalances, anxiety, and restlessness in animals and even sensitive humans. Another hypothesis involves groundwater chemistry. Tectonic stress creates microfractures, releasing gases like radon. Animals with exceptional olfactory senses, such as dogs, may detect these chemical changes long before human instruments can. Modern early warning systems, though advanced, have limitations. They can detect P waves to offer seconds of warning, enough to shut down subways or gas lines, or in the case of ocean buoys, provide hours of notice for tsunamis. But these systems are expensive, complex, and not universally available. Most importantly, they react to events already in motion. They cannot predict when a quake will occur. This is where biological sensors honed by evolution could revolutionize disaster preparedness. Initiatives like the Icarus Project, international cooperation for animal research using space, led by Dr. Wakelski, are embedding this ancient concept within modern science. Small solar power transmitters attached to animals worldwide, from Italian goats to birds in seismic zones, relay real time behavioral, movement, and physiological data to the International Space Station. Using AI and machine learning, researchers aim to identify predictive patterns of collective animal behavior preceding disasters. In the near future, the sudden deviation of migratory birds or synchronized agitation among livestock may serve as the most reliable indicator of impending danger, triggering our technology in time to save lives. By listening to these ancient whispers, we may finally harness a natural early warning system that has been beside us all along.